Hello, I'm Onyx, and this is part 1 of me redesigning the Grand Galloping Gala outfit from My Little Pony. I'll be redesigning Rarity, Twilight Sparkle, and Rainbow Dash in this video, and I'll do the rest in part 2, which should come out soon since I'm working on these videos at the same time. I'll start with some critiques and then move on to the actual redesigns. Also, all critiques and redesigns in this video are just my own opinions. It's completely fine if you disagree, just be kind and respectful. I'm doing this completely just for fun. Now on to the redesigns. Starting off with the fashionista herself, Rarity. Honestly, this is my least favorite outfit. I think the worst part is the colors. Rarity's palette is very cool tone with blue, white, and purple. But this dress is warm tone. That just doesn't suit her at all in my opinion. Also, I don't like the top. The bottom is okay, but the top doesn't match. The only thing I like in this is the shoes because they actually match her color palette. So I decided to just completely ignore the previous outfit and come up with something completely by myself. And I decided to go for an old money vibe because I thought that the style fit her really well and it matched her personality. So I gave her this blue coat with a ton of white fur trim. And it's especially voluminous around her collar and neck to give more of an interesting silhouette and even more of that old money drama. And the dress underneath, along with her gloves and shoes, are purple. I decided to use the purple as more of an accent color since it's so dark and vivid compared to the icy blue and the white. So I was worried that if I used too much of the purple, it would completely overpower everything else. And I was planning on giving her silver jewelry, but I decided to opt for a pearl necklace and bracelet with a good amount of diamond. And if you look closely, you can actually see that the diamond on her earring, ring, and necklace are the same ones as the ones on her cutie mark. And there's 3, the same amount as her cutie mark. I thought it would be kind of cool if I somehow discreetly snuck their cutie mark symbols in there, and you will see that later on in the other redesign as well. And here's the final redesign. I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end. She looks amazing and confident and ready to get a man. Next up, Twilight Sparkle. Hers isn't that bad, but once again, the choice of color just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe if they made it like a dark purple to kind of match the streak in her hair, it would look a bit better. Also, I'm not a big fan of the popped collar, and I don't really see Twilight in a poofy gown. Here I'd also like to mention the episode Suited for Success, which is the episode in which you see Rarity make each of the main 6 their gala outfits. But for some reason, when they see them, they're not really happy with how they turned out. So Rarity decides to make them brand new ones completely to their wishes, with no creative pushback, and the outfits don't really turn out the best. If you'd like to watch the whole episode for free, it's available here on YouTube. Just look up My Little Pony Suited for Success. Now, I'm not saying that the outfits are great, but I think there is some potential and concepts that I would like to add into some of the outfits. I decided to go for a late Victorian vibe with some librarian energy. I didn't want her clothes to be super tight or poofy because I didn't think she would be comfortable in those types of clothes. If she gets tired of socializing, she'll find a little nook to sit in and recharge her social battery while reading a book without her dress getting in the way. It's kind of hard to see because her hands are covering it, but she has an indigo belt around her waist that ties into a bow at the back. I also gave her some silver glasses with a glasses chain because I thought that it would work as a cute accessory, and I felt that it would really pull that whole kind of late Victorian librarian vibe together. For her shoes, she has some indigo loafers with a pretty flat heel. I think if she wore shoes that were higher, she'd have trouble walking around and her feet would get sore, so that's the reason for the flatter heel. I really like the fabric with the constellations and the bows with stars on them, and so I wanted to incorporate those into my redesign. And I put her cutie mark on the bow around her neck as an homage to the bows of the stars on them that I thought were pretty. I made the undershirt that she wears underneath her dress a lighter pink because I thought that if I used the same vivid pink that she has in her hair, it would clash with the purple dress. And here's the final Twilight Sparkle redesign. I'm actually really happy with how much detail got to put into this, and overall, her vibe is just perfect to me. And last but not least for this video, Rainbow Dash. I actually really do not hate this. I really like the laurel wreath, which is that leafy crown thing you see Roman emperors wear, because the home of the Pegasi, Cloudsdale, kind of reminds me of Olympus, which is the home of the gods in Greek mythology. So I think that reference and connection is really clever. So I decided to fully lean into the Greek mythologic vibe. But some of you might be thinking, Onyx, didn't you just say that the laurel wreath was related to Rome, not Greece? Well, actually, because I decided to do some research for this because I had a Greek hyperfixation for a while and this kind of like reawakened it. Laurel wreaths were both used in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, but with different meanings. In ancient Greece, laurel wreaths symbolized victory, so they were oftentimes given as prizes to winning Olympic athletes, poets, or army generals. Whereas in ancient Rome, they were seen as a symbol of political power, which is why Roman emperors wore laurel wreaths. But anyways, with that historical lesson out of the way, let me start talking about the actual redesign. So like I said, my main inspiration for her redesign is ancient Greece. I also did a bit of a different pose for her than the poses I've done so far. Rarity's was very like sleek and classy. Twilight's was kind of like, very, very delicate. Whereas for her, I wanted more of like a almost like flexing pose, kind of a strong pose. Almost like she's, flexing her muscles to all the ladies at the ball. I mean, her hair is a literal rainbow. What did you expect? Come on. Then she also has gold gladiator sandals and this gold corset thing. I wanted to do like a full-on armor chest plate, but I didn't like how that looked, so I switched to this underbust corset. And to tie all the gold together, she also has some gold arm bracers. And the fastener that's holding her cape on is actually called a fibula. I did not know that. Thought that was a pretty cool fun fact. And her fibula actually has her cutie mark on it. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but if you look closely at this paint, you might notice that I initially drew her feet on incorrectly. So she has two left feet, literally. So you can see me going back and fixing that and me having a little bit of trouble, but I think I got there in the end. I'm also not really used to drawing feet because of the creeps on the internet, so normally I don't draw people with their toes out. But I decided that I'll make an exception for Rainbow Dash because I think the gladiator sandals are absolutely essential for her outfit. With all the rainbow in her hair, her cape, even her name, I decided that for a little breath of fresh air, I'll make her dress a plain white as a little palette cleanser for all the bright colors that are already in this redesign. And this is the final redesign. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I feel like I really stuck true to my vision, and overall, I just love her. And here are the first 3 My Little Pony redesigns. I really love how they turned out, and I hope you do too. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video, which should hopefully come out soon. See you then. Bye!